I'd like to introduce you to somebody who has fought back very hard since 2007. While he was living in Ridgefield, he taught social studies at Scotts Ridge Middle School, and he, along with some of the other staff there, offered many 8th graders their first opportunity to do a philanthropy project. And during his time here, and with those projects, they raised over $300,000 for the American Cancer Society. Please join me in welcoming Steve Kehoe.
Thank you, Emily. Emily has given me 30 seconds, but they don't begin until I say they do. I want to just compliment you young people sitting out here tonight, because one of the things that used to drive me crazy, and you know that phrase, guys, were the students who would sit here and listen to the opening remarks and would talk and were rude. And it used to be, I went bonkers. You are among the most polite young people I have ever seen. So give yourselves a big round of applause. So now I guess my 30 seconds begins, and I didn't know I was going to be here up on the stage tonight, but I want to tell you about a low point in my life. I come from a family that they're all cancer survivors. My mom has had cancer twice, my dad has had cancer, and my sister had cancer when she was in her 30s. They are all here tonight. Knowing the history that I had, watched me like hawks. And one day, the dreaded news I thought would always come, came. Steve, we think you have cancer. No, I did not have cancer. But they weren't sure. I tested positive, and for many years they kept watch over me, and every test they could give me, they gave me. And so that first time that the doctor said, Steve, we think you might have cancer, it was really a low point for me. And then I went to school that first day at Scotts Ridge School, and after the announcement, and right outside my door was a young person smiling, laughing, just as happy as could be. And I learned later that she was a cancer survivor, and that she had had a very serious form of cancer. And as I looked at her during that school year, I wondered to myself, she's always happy, she's always smiling, so why should I feel sorry for myself? And I have to tell you, my career ended the same way. That year we dedicated our walk to this young lady, and my last year at Scotts Ridge, we dedicated our walk to another young person, always happy, always the brunt of my jokes. And he's here, Hunter Tuccio, with his whole family. Stand up, guys. Stand up, Tuccios and Hunter. And so I guess what I'm trying to say to you is we find our inspiration and we find our heroes in lots of different places. And for me, it was a 7th grade young girl and a 7th grade young boy who could smile and laugh and always be happy, knowing that they were living with this dreaded disease. So it gives me great pleasure tonight to introduce our guest speaker and opening ceremonial speaker. I can't call her by her real name, Maddie Wolf, because she'll get mad at me. It was always Wolfie, just like it was always Tooch. So thank you guys for being my inspiration.
Thank you, Mr. Kehoe. Welcome to all of you who are joined in the war against cancer through your support of the American Cancer Society. I am Madeleine Wolf, and I am a cancer survivor. Cancer is something that represents death. Relay for Life, unlike cancer, represents life. It represents the hope for life that many cancer patients should and do have. It represents the spirit of a cancer survivor. It represents the love of caregivers. It also represents remembrance of those who have fallen in their valiant struggle against a cruel and vile enemy. While I was sick, I often wondered how many other people were going through an experience similar to my own. According to the American Cancer Society, about 1,638,910 new cancer cases were expected to be diagnosed in the year 2012. While I had found these statistics to be frightening, something even more shocking to me was that about 577,190 people were expected to die of cancer in 2012. That is more than 1,500 people a day. My reaction to these numbers was disbelief. I couldn't and didn't want to accept the magnitude of these numbers. Seeing these statistics reminded me just how important the fight against cancer truly is. Events like Relay for Life that take part in this fight are vital to the intensity and strength of this. The goal of events like this is to lower these numbers. The voice of participants of Relay for Life and the event itself says no, these numbers cannot and will not be. Throughout my life, I have heard statements with the similar message of cancer does not define you as a person. It is what you do with your life after the illness that does. In 2003, I was diagnosed with primary central nervous system lymphoma. I was 10 years old at the time, and I didn't really know what cancer was or what it meant. I finished my last treatment the day I started 6th grade, and have been in remission ever since. Cancer gave me near-death and life-changing experiences, and I have memories both wonderful and horrible that I will never forget, and that come back to me very vividly. While cancer gave me unforgettable memories, it has also inspired me to share my story about cancer with others. I have on many occasions told people what it was like to live with cancer and what it's like to be a survivor. I participated in Relay for Life for the first time in 8th grade. I was a team captain, but I was also the speaker at the Luminaria ceremony. That was a powerfully moving experience and honestly helped me bring some closure to the ordeal I had been through. It was a night of healing, and it showed me that cancer survivors wield power. It was evidence of what could be done in life after cancer. An acronym I learned in my freshman year of college was YOLO. For those of you who don't know what YOLO means, it stands for You Only Live Once. I believe this is something that people should think about. My experience with cancer taught me that we all have only one life to live, and how precious that life truly is. People should always make the most of what they have and live life to the fullest. Those who are not sick must do this for themselves, and people who are suffering from a disease such as cancer need to think of YOLO to bring light into the darkest places of their lives. While YOLO might sound like a silly texting acronym, the idea behind it is simply and elegantly profound. As participants in this year's Relay for Life of Ridgefield, you have all embraced YOLO whether you know it or not. You have become strong from your determination in fundraising, from the happiness you have experienced by working with your teammates, and from the love in your hearts you have shown through your efforts. You have all come together to show your belief that the heart of one person can be strong, but the hearts of many combined can be even mightier. By working together, you have raised money to fight back against a daunting and formidable opponent, but an opponent which is by no means all-powerful. Cancer does not have the determination you have felt to raise money. It does not possess the determination that a cancer patient has to fight back and live. Cancer does not thrive on the happiness you get from making cookies and brownies with your teammates and running a bake sale. Cancer doesn't recognize the smile of pure joy that comes onto a person's face when they hear that the cancer that they had is gone. By no means does cancer feel love. It does not feel the warmth you have all felt in your hearts when deciding to put your efforts into the cause to fight back against cancer. It does not feel the care you have to take to honor a loved one or to say, no, I will not stand down to something that must and will eventually be forever cured. Standing passively before cancer is not an option for any of us here. Cancer patients must have hope and stay strong. They need to have the faith that the cancer inside of them can be beaten. When feeling sadness, helplessness, and fear during their experience, they should know that that feeling is not their fate. Those feelings, like many emotions, will pass. When the IV starts to drip or the radiation begins, they must remember that it will not last forever. By doing any of these things, they fight back against cancer. While the fight is led by those warriors on the literal front line, all warriors need a source of support. When it comes to confronting cancer, caregivers are vital participants who provide support to their loved ones who are going through an unimaginable battle of their own. So I wish to recognize all the caregivers here tonight. Your attention to details of your loved one's treatments and your efforts to help minimize the side effects of their experience are invaluable. Not only do you provide support and attention medically, but you're also there for them emotionally. Your loved ones who are going through probably what is the hardest experience they will ever have to face need to know that they can cry on your shoulder. They should feel that if they need to vent about just how awful it is to have cancer, that they will be listened to and taken seriously. They need to know they are not alone. Cancer affected many aspects of my life, but it has not decided who I am as a person. I still remember my experience, make efforts toward the cause, and try to give back for the care I received. I have also learned that life does move on. The terrible villain doesn't define who you are as a person. It's what you do with your life that does. Once one has had to endure this disease, it is not true that life will revolve around the illness forever. One's outlook is affected by the experience, but one's life is not forever determined or characterized by it. Tonight, as you walk the track, remember that it is our collective hope that binds us together. One day, none of us will need to be here, for the war against cancer will be won. Thank you all so much for being here tonight.